let's so we install it yesterday, right? So installation part is done, and so what did we install actually? Install Java, Tomcat as well, then Jenkins.var. Okay, so we have installed Jenkins on Tomcat server. Okay, so did anyone try other installations, other Tomcat installations? No? See, just try with Jenkins.jar file as well. Just try with this. So this will be kind of very easy. That's it. Just download it and run this file. It's very easy. Okay, just do this part. So in today's session, so we are done with the master installation, right? We're done with the master installation. Okay. And let's start with slaves today. So we'll configure some slaves, and once we configure the slaves, what we do is we create some jobs, okay, and then we assign jobs on slaves, okay, onto slaves. So we assign jobs onto slaves to run, okay. Fine. So before that, let me check our master. So it is 228. 228 slash Jenkins 2.7, I guess, right? Yeah, 8080. And then 080 slash Jenkins 2.7. So it will be loaded. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I think on this machine, I guess we install it. Yeah, here we have browser. So it's a different machine actually. It's 227. Okay, let me try this. So it is taking time. So let me check what is going wrong. First, check the IP address, whether IP is correct or not. I think this is correct IP address. 220, 240 to 227. So no issues with it. Yeah. So let's go step by step. Firstly, okay. So first check the IP address, and also next is check for the firewalls. Okay. Service IP tables status. So yeah, they're running. Okay. So let's stop it now. Service IP tables stop, and also stop for IP6 tables. Still it is not reachable. Then go to Tomcat. Okay, so in Tomcat just go to the bin directory. So and just restart it. I just want to restart it. It will be loaded. If you want, you can check it on locally as well. It should not take such a long time. Yeah, it is loading. So it will be loaded. So Jenkins. Yeah, you see the Jenkins, right? So it will be loaded. Okay, fine. Let it be loaded. Now let's look into the slaves concept. Okay. Now, so if you look at the slaves here, okay, the slaves. So slave is just a machine, right? Some machine. So slave is going to perform some operations, and also make sure you install Java on slave as well. Just install Java, nothing else. Okay. So that too, if you want to compile jobs, if you want to compile some Java jobs, make sure you install the Java as well. Okay, right. And after this, and see, the slave machine can be of two types. Like that could be on Windows, or else that could be on Linux. Right? The slave could be on either Windows or either on Linux. Okay, fine. So now, see, for the both machines, like for Windows machine or for Windows slave or Linux slave, the configuration is different. Okay, the configuration is different for Windows slave as well as Linux slave. So let's look into both configurations. Okay, so here you see the credentials, right? It's asking to enter the credentials, but what are these credentials? See, password is administrator. Sorry, username is administrator is the username, and the password is, see, whatever you have. Yesterday we have just entered the password from secrets initial admin password. Right? That will be your password. Okay, but in my case, okay, I'm going to disable the securities because we'll be setting up securities later on. So we'll see this part later on, not now. If you want, you can just look at it, but I'll be explaining this part later on. I'm just disable security. So it is true. I'm just changing it to false. I'm doing some configuration level settings. Okay. So I just disable the security of Jenkins. So, but how do we do that? We'll see at the time of securities, not now. Okay. since we had done some configuration level changes, I just want to restart. See, here you can restart either your server, that is one thing, you can restart your server, okay, or else if you open your Tomcat, right? Sorry. For what? Upstairs. Okay. So here, so if you open your Tomcat localhost again, so if you open the localhost, when you go to the manager app, right, there you can see all the applications on your Tomcat server, right? So there you see Jenkins, right? There you see Jenkins. So if you go to the Jenkins, there you have an option. So look at here, Jenkins. You can start, reload, or some options. Okay, you can restart your Jenkins with these options. That's one way. Okay, but why do we need to restart it? Yeah, we have done some configuration level settings. We have done some configuration level settings. That is the reason I want to restart it. See, that's one way of restarting Jenkins. Two ways, we have seen two ways actually. You can restart your server, you can restart your Jenkins, or else if you mention something like this, that will be restarted. Okay, so this is one more way, and there is also another way to restart Jenkins. So we'll see that later on. Now, okay, so look at here. So this is our Jenkins homepage, right? That's why we have created this Jenkins homepage. Now, let's explore some of the options in Jenkins. So this is your dashboard. This is your dashboard. Now, if you want to create a job, you can create job from this page, from here, this option, or else whenever you click on a new item, you can create a job. Okay. Now we'll see this later on. But as of now, if you go to manage Jenkins, so whenever you go to manage Jenkins, okay, there you can see all settings of your Jenkins. Okay, if you want to do settings of your Jenkins, then these are all the options available in Jenkins. Okay, and at the bottom you can see the version you are using, the version you are working on. Okay, and here in the top you see some of the recommendations for us from Jenkins. Okay, so yes, setup security and dismiss. Okay, some of the options, some of the warnings we have. Okay, that's okay. Should not worry about those. Those are just recommendations. No issues. Now, so here the first option we would like to go for is manage nodes. Okay, just click on manage nodes. Now you see master, right? But did we configure this master manually? No. So that's why I said Jenkins itself is your master. Jenkins itself is your master. Whenever you install Jenkins, you can see your master. Okay. Now after this, see that is your master. But do we have slaves yet? No, we don't have any slaves. So let's create some slaves by clicking on new node. Okay. Now, so first I want to create some Linux node. I want to create a Linux node. Okay. Now, So permanent agent. See, as of now, how many options we have here? We just have one option, which is permanent agent. Okay. So later on, after whenever we create the second slave, there you see we will be having one more option. Just remember this part. We'll see that later on. Okay. Now click on OK. Now, see, once you click on OK, you see this is your Linux slave or your slave machine configuration. This is your slave machine configuration. Okay. So you see some of the options here. Okay. But before we look into these options, okay. Okay. First, let's look into launch method. See, within the launch method, you see here, right? So here you should be able to see Linux slave. See, what do you mean by launch method? See, as I said, we can have two machines. One is on Windows, other one is on Linux. So here you need to get the option called the slave SSH slave machine configuration. But we don't have that option. What is that option is for is if you want to configure a slave machine on Linux, you need to have that option available. But we don't have that option available. So what do we do now? We install a plugin in order to make sure the option is available, so that you can configure the Linux slave. Okay. Now just look at here. We have only one option available as of now. So I'm going to install one more. I'm going to install a plugin now. Now here comes the plugin concepts. Here comes the plugin concepts. So click on manage Jenkins, manage plugins. Okay. So okay. So we have four sections available here. First is updates. Second one is available, install, and advanced. Okay, what is this updates? We'll see that later on. But as of now, firstly, look at install one. Go to install one. If you go to the install section, these are here. You see the list of plugins you have installed on your master or on your Jenkins. But did we install any plugins yet? No, not yet. Okay, that is the install section. And then here available sections. See, we have also have update section, right? See what kind of updates you see. If you install any plugins here in Jenkins, if the plugin has any updates, if the plugin is having any updates, you can see those updates in under update section. But since we not install any plugins yet, so we don't have any plugins, any updates for the plugins. Okay. Now let's explore available. Yeah. It should not actually. That's because of on my machine I'm running too many applications. That is the reason. And moreover, my memory of my server is low, just 1 GB memory. It's running on just 1 GB memory. That's why it's taking time. Okay. So if you change your configuration to 2 GB, yeah, 2 GB or 3 GB, then that will be more faster. Okay. But my configuration is only 1 GB on Jenkins master. Now look at here. This is your see, and moreover, see these plugins. Why it is taking time is, where do you get these plugins from? Yeah, that's one more reason. Okay, so you get all these plugins from the internet. That's one more reason. Okay, now, so here these are all the available plugins for your Jenkins. Okay, now the plugin which I want to download first is SSH. I want this plugin, SSH slaves plugin. Okay, I want to install this plugin now. See, these plugins are important because definitely there will be a question on in the interview that what are the plugins you have downloaded for your Jenkins. Definitely there will be a question on this. 100%. You can expect this question. Okay. Now, so I want to install without restart, or else you can download now, install after restart. You can do that, but I want to install it without restart. See, we are just installing SSH slaves plugin, right? But what are these plugins? These are dependency plugins. Okay. So make sure you have internet connected. But what if the internet is not connected to my Jenkins or master? See, you need to have your internet connected to your server, not your client machine. See, I'm working on Windows. That means that is my client machine. But you need to have internet connected to your server master. Okay, make sure about this. Now, but what if the internet is not connected? Can't I download these plugins? Yes, you can. So here the option is, if you go to manage plugins, there you have an option called advanced. Okay, so here see this plugin, right? Upload a plugin. See, what does it mean is, see, first download a plugin first. Once you download a plugin, okay, just look at here. See, once you download a plugin, for example, I want ant plugin. Click on this. Okay. Now you see the different versions of plugins. Whenever you click on this, the plugin will be downloaded. Okay. Now once it is downloaded, let me show you this part. See this, right? And.hpi. See, trust me, there was a question that what is .hpi in Jenkins? That was the question. What is .hpi? See, whenever you want to install a plugin, okay, if you want to download that, if you want to install that plugin through offline, then what we do first? First we download that plugin. Okay, first we download that plugin. After that, what you do here? Go to Jenkins. Here, choose a file. Now, where is your plugin? That's in download sections. Right here. Now, open, and then you just upload it. Once you upload it, you can see the ant plugin downloaded, installed within your Jenkins. So, what is the plugin? What is .hpi is? That is your offline plugin. To be simple, that is your offline plugin. Sorry. Yeah, of course, extension. Okay, so if you see a file with .hpi extension, means that is your offline plugin. Okay, so whenever you upload it, that will be uploaded. Okay, now it is installing. You see this installing ant. Okay, now it is success, right? That's one way of uploading or installing plugins. Okay, now you see the ant. Ant has some updates, but if you go to the install section, this section you see ant as well as SSH slaves plugin. Now we have ant is installed and then SSH is also installed. Okay. Now, so we'll see more plugins later on. As of now, we just need only the SSH slaves plugin. Okay. Now, so now let's come back to the slaves configuration part. Okay. See how many options we have as of now. We just have one option. Now, I just want to refresh this. Okay. Now, if you go to the launch method again, now here you see launch slave agent via SSH. Launch slave agent via SSH. So we need to make sure first you have this plugin downloaded if you want to launch any Linux slaves. Okay. So I'm here to select this. Now, see first launch method is I want to go for SSH. Okay. Now, after this we have some settings here. So what is this? That is your host IP address, host machine IP address. That means that is your slave machine IP address. Okay. See, what is our master? This is our master, right? That's our master, which is 227. Now we have one more machine here, which is 228. Okay, that will be our Linux agent. Okay, our Linux slave. 192, 168, 242, 228, and then the credentials. Okay, now click on add and Jenkins. See here, the username is root and the password. Okay, see, these are credentials of your which machine? Linux slave agent. Okay, slave machine. Fine. Now, so we are done with the configuration, but we have few more settings as well with it while we configure it. What are those settings? Now, description. That's some description first. Now, you see the number of executors. What is this number of executors? Okay, the maximum number of concurrent builds that Jenkins may perform on this agent. Okay, so what I mean is, see here, if I mention, for example, 3. So parallelly, 3 jobs will be run on this slave machine at the same time. Okay, that is what you mean by concurrent builds. Okay, that means slave master can assign 3 jobs to this slave machine. Okay, see, for example, if the master assigns 5 jobs to this slave machine, but how many jobs will be run at the same time? Only 3. Only 3. Okay, then how about the other 2 jobs? They will be in pending state. Okay, right. So now, but maximum, remember this, do not go for beyond 5. Do not go beyond 5, but I recommend only 3 or 4 maximum, but do not go beyond 5. Okay, so if you don't understand any options in Jenkins at any time, so we have these help buttons available. Okay, so just click on this, click on these help buttons. There you can see about what is that option is regarding. Okay, now second is remote root directory. Okay, what is this remote root directory is? This is your slave's home directory. This is a slave's home directory. See, master will assign some jobs to slaves, right? Master will assign jobs to the slave machines. Then it is going to perform some jobs. Okay. Then once it is performed, once the job is performed, it is going to create some files. Just say, okay, some files, for example. Okay, it is going to create some files. But where the files will be saved on the slave machine. Understand my point? Right, where the files will be saved on this slave machine. That is, here we have the home directory. This is your root directory of your slave machine. Okay, now let's create a directory and make that directory as a root directory or home directory for this slave machine. Okay, 228, right? Right, so let's create a directory, Jenkins home. Okay, file exist. Sorry, is it there? Oh, is it? Okay, so we deleted different one, I guess. Okay, Jenkins home. Okay, just created. So it is created 3D Jenkins home. Okay, it is a plain directory. So what is the location? What is the path of this? Slash Jenkins home. Okay, fine. So that is done. Now label. Can someone tell me what is label?
Linux is nothing but a name for the directory.
Sorry. Linux?
We can create a name for the directory or something.
No. We have seen that part.
Yeah.
We've seen groups, right? We've seen groups, right? Right?
Yeah.
So labels are nothing but groups. But what the label contains? What the label contains? Collection of slaves. Correct. So here I'm going to create a group first. I'm going to create a group. See why? For example, I want to create a group called some dev node. Okay, this is my group name. So this label will be created at the same time. This machine will be added to this label. The machine will be added to this label. Okay, right. Now, so usage. Now use this node as much as possible. Use it for maximum. Okay. Now, just save it. Now click on this machine, on this slave machine. Now you can launch this. Just launch this. Now you see this label, right? This is under so and so label. Now just launch this. Key exchange was not finished. Okay. Now let me do this. Let me configure it again. So I want to go for non-verifying strategies. Just want to launch this again. Fine. See, and just make sure, okay, so you install Java. That is what it's checking for. You install Java. If the Java is not installed, okay, that won't be configured. So you look at here, it is checking for Java versions. Where is this? Checking for Java versions as well. Okay. Launch failed again, cleaning up connections. Okay, let me check it. Whether it is really failed or not. This is. See, there is a problem with versions actually, so that's why it's not launching it. So it is checking for particular Java versions, but the Java version is not there on the on the client machine. So it is going to install Java on client, I mean on slave machine, but that is going to install automatically on the client machine as well. Okay, so whenever you want to install, I mean whenever where is this? Jenkins, not plugins, manage nodes. So it was trying to install Java. Okay, it's trying to install Java, but it says please specify your Oracle account username and the password. Okay, see how do you set up these things within our Jenkins is, so if you go to manage Jenkins, you understand what is happening? Yeah, okay. So here you have an option called global tool configurations. Okay, so global tool configurations. So here you have an option to select Java JDK. Okay, add JDK. Now here just give some name, whatever the name you like. Just give some name, like your version number, whatever. Now so install automatically. Okay. Now here select which version you want to install. Select which version you want to install. Okay, and then click on I agree. Then after that, please enter your username and the password. Okay. Now here you need to enter your username and password of your Oracle account. So firstly, we need to have an account on Oracle. So does anyone have an account? No. I should have it actually. I don't remember. I need to fill up these things. It's already there. System is hanging. Okay, so we'll do one thing then. Okay, what I want to do is, okay, yeah, that is there, but the problem is still it is not going to work out. Jenkins has to install it actually. Jenkins has to install it. Okay, okay. So we'll look into the Java installation part later on. Okay, now let's look into again here manage nodes. Now here I want to create a different node which is a Windows node, which is a Windows node. Okay, now just create a new node now. Okay, so here I want to create a different, now it is Windows node. Okay, so here we have an option here, right? Copy existing node configurations. Okay, so the first we have is that is permanent agent, and second is copy from existing node. What does it mean? Yeah, so this node is already there, right? All these configurations will be copied from this node to a new node. Okay, that's what it means. Now, but as of now, I'm going with some new permanent agent. Okay, So here launch method. Now, so in launch method we have only SSH, but we don't have any option called launch a Windows node. Launch a Windows node. But now here, if you want to launch a Windows node, then what do we need now? What do we need? We need a plugin. No, we don't need a plugin if you want to launch a Windows node. So there are some security settings in Jenkins. You need to change those security settings in Jenkins. Okay. Right. So manage Jenkins. Here you have option global, configure global securities. Okay. Now, so look at here. This is very important. Now, first enable it. Okay. What is happening here? We should see some options here. How come we are not able to see this? Okay, no issues. So look at here, you have an agents, right? Okay, we have some agents there. You see TCP port for JNLP agents. So actually it has been disabled. It has been disabled. Now just go with random and then see, do not enable this. Remember this part, do not enable this actually. So it is changed actually. Okay. Do not enable this. So just go with, here you have an agents, right? There you just select TCP IP, TCP port number for JNLP agent. But what is that JNLP agent? JNLP agent means that is your Windows agent. That is your Windows agent. Now click on random port number and then just apply and then save it. Okay. Now go to your configuration page of your slave, refresh. Now you see this, right? Now we have a new option which is launch agent via Java Web Start. Okay. So what is this Java Web Start is? Java Web Start is a plugin. Java Web Start is a plugin. So the plugin will be having the configurations of your Windows machine and to your master. See, whenever we launch it, right? Whenever we launch it, what happens? That will be connected to your Windows machine. But look at here. Are we going to mention your system IP address like what we have done for Windows or for Linux? No, we are not going to do that. Okay. So instead, what we're going to do is, whenever we select this option, what happens is a plugin will be downloaded onto your Windows machine, and that plugin will be having all the configurations of your master and then Windows. Okay. Now, just give some descriptions here.
If you have multiple Windows machines,
Yes. Yeah. If you have multiple Windows machines.
if you want to run a particular Java particular machine,
Yes. You can run it. See, here we are giving some name, right? We're giving some name. Okay. See,
based
as
on
of
the
now,
host name, you should do it.
sorry,
Based on the host name, you should do it.
there is no host name. There is nothing called host name. See, are we going to mention any host names here? No, we are not going to mention any host names. Okay, so we are not going to mention any host names. Only what we're going to do is we're going to assign only based upon the name, only based upon the names. That's it. Not based upon the your host, because we don't have anything called host IP address. So we don't have any host IP address. So we always go with run this job on so and so machine name. That's it. Okay. Right. Now here number of executors same, and then remote root directory. This is your remote root directory. Okay, of your machine, Windows machine. Here I'm going to create a directory here. Jenkins. Okay. Just copy this path and then just paste. And the label. Okay. I'm going to create So we already have created dev group, right? Just add this slave machine again to the same group. Okay, so dev group. I'm adding both machines, Linux machine as well as the Windows slave machine into the same group. Okay, sorry, dev node. Was it node? Node or group? Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then just save it. So even I'm not sure whether it will be launched or not. So look at here, launch. Whenever you launch it, okay. So just see what is going to happen. Now the plugin is downloaded. So just keep this plugin. Now what is this plugin? It is JNLP. This is a Java plugin. Okay. Now, just launch it. So now it's asking to update. Your Java is out of date. Later. So I don't think so. This will be launched. The reason is on master we have 1.8 version, right? Now here it is only 7 version. Just run it. Now the plugin is launched. Look at here. So it is connected. Okay. Nice. It is connected. Now it is not connected. I'm sure that terminated. Say this. Connected and terminated. The reason is again the version complex. So always remember this part from your side. Okay, what you do is whatever the Java version you have for your master, you have the same version of Java on your slave machines. That is very important. Otherwise, you can't launch your slave machines. You can't launch your slave machines. Remember this part, which is very important. Okay. Now, but unfortunately, I'm not able to launch either of these two. Okay, we'll launch it. So I'll need to upgrade my Java versions. So I'll upgrade it, then we'll launch it. Okay. Now, but we have only master is ready. Okay, we just have master ready, but we have seen how to configure the slaves. Okay, that is ultimately how we configure the slaves. Now we have master ready. Now can we run the jobs on master? So let's do that part. So we don't have any slave machines ready, we don't have any slave machines online. So let's run the jobs on slaves itself, sorry, on master itself. Okay, for example, so how do we create a job here? Create some new jobs. Now first, test job 1. I just want to name it some test job 1. Okay. Now go with a freestyle project. So what is a freestyle project is, whenever you select a freestyle project, you see all the configurations of your job will be open. That means you need to set every configuration of your job. Okay. What I mean by configurations is these are your configurations. These are your configuration. This page we call it the job configuration page. The job configuration page. See your questions from Jenkins. Yeah, 50% of the questions will be from this page. If you're able to understand all the options available within this page, you can easily understand Jenkins. Okay, 50% of Jenkins is from this page. Okay, now we have some options here like general, source code management, build triggers, build environments, build, and then post build actions. Okay, now so we'll go stepwise. See, firstly, what we do is first in general section. Okay, in general section, so if you scroll down at the end, you see this, right? Restrict where this project can be done. Where this project can be done. What this option is, whenever you select this, so what is the option? Label expression, right? That is your label expression. So here you mention on which label you want to run your job. We have created a label, right? What is that label name? You see this, we got a label. Just select this label. So the job will be run on this label, but the label contains how many machines? Two machines, which is one is for Windows, other one is for Linux. But both the machines are offline, right? Both the machines are offline. Remember this part. Okay. Now, so then we go to the build part now. Okay, build part, build section. Now, here we have the build section. Okay, so in this we have option execute shell or invoke execute shell or execute Windows batch commands. So if you want to run any Windows commands, on your slave machine, see what slave does. Slave is going to run run your job, but whether, for example, if the slave is a Windows machine, I want to run some actions on that machine. Then what do you do? Here you mention some Windows commands like this. Mention your Windows commands. Why I'm going to mention the Windows commands? Because I want to run this job on a Windows machine, and then if you want to run your job on your Windows machine, here you mention your job, your batch commands as your Windows commands. But if you want to run this job on a Linux machine, then you go with execute shell options. These are your Linux shell options, shell commands. Okay, so we have two options. One is for Windows batch commands, other one is for execute shell options. Okay, now for example, here I am selecting some command called some mkdir, some directory1, or else some date command. Okay, some touch something, some file1. Okay, so we are running these three commands. Okay. Now I save it, apply, and save it. Okay, so whenever you apply and save, you see this, there is something called workspace is created. What is this workspace? We see that later on, but as of now, so I want to trigger this job, I want to build this job. Okay, so I want to run this job, then go with build now. So if I run this build now, okay, is the job will be done successfully? No. Why? You see this, all nodes are offline within the label called dev node. Okay, see, this job will be triggered as soon as you launch your slave machines. As soon as you launch your slave machines, the job will be triggered. Okay, but I'm going to cancel this as of now. Just want to cancel this. I'm going to again configure the job. And here, see this, uncheck this option now. I want to uncheck this option. Okay, understand what I'm doing? See, I'm not restricting the job to run on a specific machine. Okay, now save this, apply and save. Now, where this job will be run, on which machine? On your master. Okay, now let's look into this part. Build now. So just click on this option. Here you can see the console output. Okay, started by anonymous user. Why it is anonymous user? Yeah, see, we are not logged into this application, right? We are not logged into this application. That means we are not done any security settings yet. Okay, so once you log into this application, there you can see the username here instead of anonymous. Okay, now so building on where it is getting built, where it is building on your master, right? It is building on master. Okay, now see, we'll come back to this. What is workspace? Now these commands, right? mkdir dir1 command, and then date. What is date? So and so date, and then touch so and so. Now see, if for example, now our master is running on your Linux OS, but what if the master is running on your Windows OS? Do the commands work? No, they don't work because there while configuring your job, you mention yeah the shell commands, execute shell commands. Obviously, shell commands won't be run on Windows. Okay, now we'll see that anyway. Now look at here, workspace. What is this workspace? Is so again go to the job. Here you have the workspace. So what are the directories have been created? Directory 1 and then the file 1. See whatever the output, like if for example if you create some files, you see all those files created, or all your for example I'm compiling some source files. So whenever you compile some source files, some class files will be created, right? Where can you see those class files? Within your workspace. So all related job related information you can find within your jobs workspace. See, every job will be having its own workspace. Every job will be having its own workspace. So if you want to look at the output of your job, then you can look into your workspace. See, and one more thing, here the workspace, right? We are accessing this workspace. See, the entire application we are accessing through the front end, through UI. But where exactly the information is saved on the back end? That's on our master server. That's on our master server. Okay. Now, so click on this again, console output. So here, the workspace. So building on master in workspace. What is the location here? So .Jenkins jobs and the job name and the workspace. Okay. So look, go to this location now. Okay. That's in user root directory. Okay, user home directory /root ls-a. Here we have .Jenkins. See, .Jenkins is your system, your master home directory, Jenkins master home directory. ls. Okay. So jobs. So within these jobs, you can see all your jobs created within your master. cd jobs. Then which job it is? Test job. cd test job. Okay. Then ls. What is the directory name? The workspace, right? cd workspace. Directory 1 and the file 1. That is a physical location. So you're accessing through browser. That's nothing but that is a UI. It's kind of user interface. Okay. Now, just one question here. For example, if I run this job on a different slave machine, if I run this job on a slave machine, see now we were running this job on a master, right? Just say for example, I want to run this job on a slave machine. How can I do that? Label, yeah. So configure. So here restrict. Here mention your label name. But instead of label name, if you want to run the job on particular machine, you can also do this. You can run a job on a particular slave machine, or else you can run a job on a group of machines.
My question is, if we have multiple Windows machines,
Yes.
I want to run a job on a particular machine.
Yes.
How would you decide?
Yeah, this is how. You mention the node name. You mention the node name. Understand? So here you can mention either whatever the node name you have. Whatever the node name you have. Okay. Whatever the node name you have, you can run it.
Where we can mention single node or multiple nodes.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that as well. You can mention the multiple node machines as well. You can also do that. Okay. So if you want to run on this multiple slave machines also, you can also do that. That's also possible. Okay. So if you run this job on a Linux node, but this is unfortunately this is offline. That should be online. Okay. Now, but if you run this, the job won't be run actually. The job won't be run. The job will be done on Linux node machine. Just say it is run. Just say it is run. Now, once the job is run, So if you go to the slave machine now, so what is the home directory of slave machine?
Once you create a Jenkins icon,
Jenkins home, right? Okay. Jenkins home. So we already in there, right? We already in the Jenkins home. Okay. Now, so it was trying to install JDK. See, remember? See, the actually master was trying to install JDK, but that was unsuccessful. That's why the directory is created. See, whenever you run the job on your master, on your slave machine, what happens? Slave will run that job. Once the slave runs that job, now here you can see a workspace directory will be created for the particular job. Okay, workspace directory will be created for the particular job. There you can see, yeah, directory 1 and then the file 1, so and so. The same way, whatever you have seen for your master, the same way here you can see. Okay, so we'll see that. I'll try to configure that Java. Okay, right. So understand these concepts. How do we run these jobs? Now, for example, I'm going to configure this. I'm not going to restrict it. I'm not going to restrict. Okay, now, so instead, see, the job will be run on your master, but master is on Linux. Okay, so instead of running these execute shell commands, I'm going to run the batch commands. I'm going to run the batch commands. Okay, now, for example, so I have a command called dir command. Okay, now mkdir command is the same. Some directory, some directory. Okay, right. So let's apply and save it. Again, will now it is failed. Okay, so the reason is command execution failed. So command won't be able to run. Okay, so it's like now look at here build step execute Windows bash command mark build as failure. Okay, so you can't run the build jobs when you can't run the bash commands, Windows bash commands, obviously on Linux machine, and the vice versa. You can't run the shell commands on the Windows store. So we know this part. Okay, now, so in our tomorrow session, see now you see this, right? This is our Jenkins homepage. This is a Jenkins dashboard. Now, see previously we had an option to create new job, but we don't have that option available, right? So next time onwards, you need to create from new item. Okay. Now, see as of now today we have created some slave machines and we are running we're running the jobs on the master itself. Okay. Now, what we do tomorrow is in tomorrow's session we'll try to compile some source files. We'll try to compile some source files. Okay, Java source files. Okay, and then see first we compile the source files with the help of the Windows commands, shell commands, Java C and the file name, Java C and the file name. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to use AND tool as our build tool. Okay, then if you want to have the source, so if you want to compile a source, you need to have the source. But where do we have the source as of now? We have the source just say within my local machine. But usually we don't maintain the source on our local machine. We maintain it on a repository. Okay. So what we do, we fetch the source from the repository, and then we start building it. So that is what we call continuous integration. So which is very important part in Jenkins. So tomorrow's session we'll look into the continuous integration part. Okay, right. Yeah. Any questions?